suckers gon' get it, no problem. It's hard at my job, but I'll be too wild, knowing that these suckers gon' get it, no problem.
Wake your game up, my nigga. Ain't no time for this shit. I know you sitting back thinking that life is a bitch. Yes, my nigga, I understand. My nigga, I feel your pain. My nigga, we gotta change. This for the king, this for the king.
Yo, man, check this shit out, man. Check this out. Out there just like you out there in the street, man. The street. You know what I'm saying? That's for our people out here, man. Yeah. Waking you up from the grave, man. It's 1969. Blacks, Hispanics, Native American, Indian. Check me out, though. Dead man walking, bullet shots unguided. Same poverty, different hood, yet we divided. Bang coats like pirates. Inside I'm a riot, mind saying library, so I'ma keep quiet. I'm about to explode from the impact of this pressure. Slay fire breathing dragons as I march the desert. Walk with no sight, your faith will measure. Diamonds made from rock, now that's our body treasure. Born in oppression, forced to maintain. Yoked the iron to wrapped in them prison chains. Animal instincts when niggas is caged. Resorting to violence, here's a plate of my rage. Action without a cause, you living with no life. Killing demons while it's great so you can get right. You say you want the kingdom, you gon' have to fight. Tunnel vision, one west, Lord, I see the light. Truth in my veins, as I slide on my shades. War scar, shoulda David hanging from my chain. The world say we strange. Teach you how to change, one west, waking brothers up from the grave. Truth in my veins, as I slide on my shades. War scar, shoulda David hanging from my chain. The world say we strange. Teach you how to change, one west, waking brothers up from the grave. Been at the end of the tunnel, I could see the light. Before I had a car, bus past, and a bike. If you ready for war, let's knuckle up and fight. Who would've known a pair of black boots to save my life? Before I had a full time, I was a drug dealer. Blood on my hands, but never claimed to be a killer. Yell like a bear, stand strong like gorillas. The Lord showed me UPK, now I'm a winner. Nightmares are falling weak to them old days. Niggas rather stay lost, looking both ways. Brothers kicking so much knowledge, never question age. As I approach the mic, I'm looking through my shades. Back then, it was peak coats for the winners. Now it's trench coats with fringes. Tell me who sent you. Cut through flesh and bones with just Bible scripture. The white man's the goddamn devil. Do you need a picture? Truth in my veins, as I slide on my shades. War scar, shoulda David hanging from my chain. The world say we strange. Teach you how to change, one west, waking brothers up from the grave. Truth in my veins, as I slide on my shades. War scar, shoulda David hanging from my chain. The world say we strange. Teach you how to change, one west, waking brothers up from the grave. Hey, remember this, man. One west, one west, one west. Hey, remember this, man. One west, one west, one west. Hey. Under Commander General Yohana, you understand? We out to bring nothing but the truth. All you perpetrators out there, man, be ready to be destroyed out there, man. We out here standing for our people. Wild West, man, 1969.
I was gonna rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me.
No affiliation, why they faking? This ain't for debating. We the real, they really imitation. I be contemplating why this ain't on like heavy rotation on radio stations. I just pray the Lord give me patience, cause I'm running through these rappers like my name Walter Payton. Shitting on these rappers, 9 to 5 is my occupation. Raw, you come in with your best troops, you best bring more. Already told you I got the juice like Orenthal. Already know what I'm about to do, bet your men fall. Everyone know that we got the truth, all your men false. So boss, overtaking our enemies. Moves calculated and orchestrated like symphonies. Smooth operated when bringing haters to misery. Top 5 list ain't shit unless you mention me. Yeah, that's why we don't associate. Fuck niggas make them more fuck niggas. Why they procreate? Why they overhate? Cause they time is short and a moment late. Let it culminate to they harder race and it palpitate. Cowards perpetrate like they little group is respectable. Talking intellectual, all of you homosexuals, faggots.
There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children.
I don't want to congregate. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to fellowship. I ain't trying to build with you. Ain't the UPK? Ain't the truth. Keep it real with you. Defenders of the faith. I got no problem bumping heads with you. All that bullshit, you can take it over there with you. Rather be a houseboy. Rather run with them.
Shalom Israel. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the Commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That truth is that the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Indians are the true Jews of the Bible. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. First, I want to start off by saying, how about you now, to all the brothers? How Shema, to all my sisters. Night is history class. We're going to go into a little bit of history, not too far off history. You feel me? We're going to talk about a couple of the slave codes. Slave codes are the codes that our oppressor used to unshackle us, but keep us shackled at the same time. When I say unshackled, but keep us shackled at the same time, what happened was, eventually we were supposed to be, emancipation came late, right? But they had slaves doing particular jobs where you couldn't constantly. Basically, the so-called slave in America was emancipated in 1865. But this slave code that we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to talk about 2 of them. The first one we're going to talk about is the slave code. It's called meritorious manumission. Meritorious manumission was a slave code started in Virginia, and it was started in 1710. Meritorious manumission was a tool that our oppressor used to unshackle us, but keep us shackled at the same time. You understand what I'm saying? And when I say that, what I'm saying is meritorious manumission was basically mind control. You understand? And what our oppressor realized was if they wanted to get the most out of us, they had to actually release us and let us walk around unshackled. So what they did was they used certain codes, they used certain laws, and they used certain provisions to unshackle us, but shackle our minds. They kept our minds shackled. And one of those codes was meritorious manumission. And meritorious manumission was a merit system code. When I say merit system code, it was a code that did this, then you would get this. Because we were slaves and we didn't have anything, anything was better than nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So to be able to be rewarded for something was better than being a slave and being beat half to death and getting nothing. You understand what I'm saying? And basically, the first part of this slave code was if you were a slave and you saved a white person's life or saved the property of a white person, you would be rewarded. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
If you were a slave and if the master's property looked like it was about to be on fire or something was about to become of it, and you saved the day, you would be rewarded. You understand? Another part of the code was if you invented something, if you created something to make life better for your oppressor, you would be rewarded. And most of the time, if the invention was good enough, you would be free. You understand what I'm saying? The third part of it was if you let the slave masters know of an uprising, or if slaves were going to escape or come up against the oppressor, if you let your oppressor know that, then you would be rewarded for that too. So a lot of these codes still go on today if you look at it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
A lot of black let's go into this like this. Let's just think of it like this, right? Think about it like this. Our oppressor. Let's think about rap music. Of all the rap music that these rappers make, the most important part of the rap music is the lyrics. They write the lyrics. And your oppressor gets paid first, and he gets the most, and you get the menial part. I remember, and I think we all can agree, all can attest to this. Remember when NWA first came out, and I remember the documentary, they had Ice Cube on there, and they asked Ice Cube why he broke up with NWA. Because when they made that first album, they said they sold over 2 million albums, but they only gave them $50,000 a piece. Think about it, right? Sold 2 million albums, and I was one who bought that album for I believe $12.85. 15, something like 15.
Right.
Yeah, think about it, right? So 15. So they all got paid off of 1/10, less than 1/10 of what the whole album sold. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
These are the things that our oppressor used to keep us in bondage. So what happened was the rest of the group got hungry and decided to sign a contract and stay with it. When Ice Cube said, hell no. You understand? I see what's going on. He tried to talk to the rest of the group, and they was like, nah. And he rolled out and went on his own, as we see. Meritorious manumission, what they do is they flash something in your face and get your attention. And because we are slaves and we don't have anything, the first thing you do is you latch on, and then you sign that contract and sign your life away. You understand? That's a form of meritorious manumission. You got that article?
Good.
You wanna read that from the beginning for me, bro?
Good.
Hey, full Psalm 55 and 21.
Dang it.
You got it?
Yeah, so I can't get rid of this for some reason. Oh, that's crazy. Alright. Come. The Meritorious Manumission Act of 1710 was enacted in Virginia during the enslavement period of African Americans. The Meritorious Manumission Act of 1710 was enacted in Virginia. It was the legal act of freeing a slave for good deeds, as defined by the national public policy, and could be granted to a slave who saved the life of a white master or his property.
Oh, right there. And said, save the life of a white master or his property. And think about this, right? To save the life of a white master or his property in those days, you could be free, right? Another part of some other codes that they had, even if you were a freed slave, if you stayed in one place for too long, they could re-enslave you. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, so it sounds good in the beginning. Think about you saving your master's life, you being in a place too long. You understand what I'm saying? You being in a place too long, being recaptured and being put back into slavery to the same slave master that gave you your freedom. And you done saved this property, you done did what you were supposed to do, you got freed, and now you're back a slave again. Read that Psalms 55 and 21 for me.
Psalms 55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
Think about what you just said, right? It says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter. You understand what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I'm going to give you this because you saved my property or you saved my life.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Gotcha.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. That sounds so good to a slave because a slave has been beaten. A slave has been ridiculed. A slave has been torn apart. A slave has been torn away from his family. And to hear the words freedom, a slave will do anything to be free. You understand what I'm saying? The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Go ahead and finish.
But war was in his heart.
But war was in his heart. Let me let you understand something. Anytime your oppressor says he's going to give you anything, there's a consequence that comes with it. You understand what I'm saying? Meritorious manumission was a psychological way to keep you enslaved. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, sir. So a lot of the times, instead of you trying to escape, you knew that if you could do something or figure out something good to do for your master or save a piece of property or save his life, you knew you could be legally free. Not understanding that you could be legally enslaved again. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. The oppressor is always trying to find a way to keep you under his foot. You understand?
And plus this what you gotta think too. Being black, you couldn't own land legally. You couldn't buy a house. You couldn't marry legally. So if you was free, what does that mean? What exactly does that mean in America? Because being who you are, and this exactly goes along with the curses in Deuteronomy.
Exactly.
You can't be freed like that.
We're going to touch on that too.
Come on, go ahead.
But that's a good point right there. You understand what I'm saying? So, but just like we said before, right? Just to hear the words freedom, just to hear the words, just to hear them say, you can get something that can possibly let you go if you did this or did something. You understand what I'm saying? This was a what do they call it? To rejuvenate, this was an excitement to a slave. You understand? I don't have to think about escaping. All I gotta do is figure out something. Just like we sit around all day long, like, man, if I could just figure out, if I could just invent something so I ain't gotta go to work no more. You understand what I'm saying? This is what brothers, we do this all day anyway. I could just figure out a rule. You understand? This is why you got so many dudes out here trying to rap. If I could just make one song, if I could make one hit, I could get out. Not understanding that once you get into that world, we all know the world has different meanings, right? When you get into that world, those people are most of the time get destroyed. You understand what I'm saying? It's a psychological thing. You want to finish reading some more of that? Not. Okay, no. I'm Salaki, sir. Salaki. Yeah, let him finish.
The last part of Psalms 55 and 21. His words were softer than oil.
His words were soft. Listen, he's slick as a whistle. You understand what I'm saying?
That's right.
What they say, he's slick as an oil can. Listen, his words were softer than oil. Right? Go ahead.
Yet were they drawn swords.
The word that he speaks sounds so smooth. But if you start, and this is where we get etymology from. Etymology is the play on words, and it's the words that they use. And most of the time, etymology is used when we go to court. When they're in court, you think they're speaking of something else when they're actually speaking of a whole different thing and a whole different situation is to tie you up even more. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
His words were smoother than oil, but yet they were drawn swords. Listen, everything about our oppressor is to destroy us. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Whenever your oppressor comes to you with an idea to help you, it's not really to help you, it's to help himself. You understand what I'm saying? And we can go back and look at it like this. Let's look at Prince, right? Prince fought to get out from under his oppressor and to get the copyrights of all his songs, or the masters to all his songs and things like that. Mysteriously, Prince died of a drug overdose. And then what happened? They got everything back. Let's go with Michael Jackson. The same thing. He had the Beatles collection. He owned it. Right? Mysteriously, drug overdose again. And what happened? They got everything back. Let's go with our girl, Whitney Houston. I'm not going to say she had a whole lot, but she had a whole lot. All of a sudden, she dies, then mysteriously, her daughter dies, and who gets everything back? Exactly. You understand? Listen. The words were softer than oil, but yet were drawn swords. Listen, this oppressor has nothing but death and destruction in mind for us. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. The
word tells us what? Trust not thine enemy. And this is the thing that kills us as a people, as a nation of people. We are so destroyed because we have so much trust in everyone. But the problem is no one has trust in us. And we think it's a horrible thing for us not to trust the other people. When it says in scriptures, it tells us, trust not thine enemy. The problem is we don't understand who our enemies are. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
We don't understand who our enemies are, and this is why we are continually destroyed. You understand what I'm saying? We are continually destroyed because of that. Understand? Go ahead, brother. You can finish that. Not you, Priest.
Oh, you talking to me? Come. Invented something from which a slave master could make a profit or snitched.
Hold up, stop right there. It says invent something, right? Now, I was listening to CNN. It wasn't the CNN, the what's the name, but it was like a little side thing that CNN had, and they was talking about all the patents that blacks had created in between the 1800s and the early 1900s that had been stolen by the oppressor. You understand? They were talking about that, and I was surprised that they went in on it because it was actually a white guy, oppressor, talking about it. You understand what I'm saying? The promise was if you invented something. Now, this is what's horrible. Let me hold up. Wait a minute. Let me get the right scripture. thing is we trust in our enemy in everything that we do. But we know that every time we patent or try to patent something, they look at it, they turn it down, and all of a sudden there's somebody else all of a sudden comes up with it and it's created. We know we lost the patent to the traffic light, right? We lost the patent to, what's that? Was that the cotton gin? Cotton gin was created by a black man. Even the front porch was created by a black man. The bedpost was created by a black man. You understand what I'm saying? All of these simple
Gaming systems.
Hold up, wait a minute. Let's go one further, right? The woman who wrote the book to the Matrix, part 1 and part 2, was stolen. Hold up, wait a minute. But what's even worse than that is that she didn't get paid until almost 15 or 20 years later. If I'm not mistaken, it could have been 10 or 15, but she got paid years later. Think about all the money that movie had made over those years, decade and a half. And then what happens is that movie made so much money that by the time they paid her a drop in the bucket.
That's what I'm about to say.
You feel me?
That's what I'm thinking. Before I raise my hand, I'm about to say that.
Our oppressor is a devil. Whether it's a devil, a deceiver. And the thing is, she trusted in them just to let them see it. And they stole it. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, let's grab this for the
You want to finish the
Go
story?
ahead, let me get finished the article. Go ahead.
Invented something from which a slave master could make a profit, or snitched on a fellow slave who was planning a slave rebellion, or to run away.
Listen, I know we all seen the first 48. You understand what I'm saying? If you snitched on a fellow slave, put down a rebellion, think about it, right? It was over, what they said, it was over 200 rebellions in the first 100 years of slavery, and all of those rebellions got put down. Why? Because somebody snitched. You understand? They said the Nat Turner rebellion got put down because somebody snitched. You understand what I'm saying? It was another rebellion that somebody snitched. What happened was the day that they were going to have the rebellion, it was a real bad storm. So they had to hold off on the rebellion. And by the time the storm was over, the person had snitched and shut down another rebellion. You understand? It was over 200 rebellions that got, and each one of those rebellions got shut down because somebody snitched. Now, this is the horrible thing, right? Imagine this. You winning your freedom, but your wife and your children are still slaves. You understand? And a lot of the times, we don't think about that part. So we do what we can for the oppressor, and it still goes against us in the end. So a lot of the times, you give your freedom back just to be with your family and continue to be destroyed.
And that's a lot.
Go ahead.
And now, since you're a snitch, how the other slaves looking at you?
Now,
You right back on that
understand?
plantation.
So now you're ridiculed, but hold up, not even that, right? Think about how your wife and your children feel about you. You understand? You got an apocrypha?
Yes, sir.
Give me pull First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 11 for me. You understand? So listen, slavery and those slave codes totally destroyed. And the thing is those slave codes are still being used to this day. You understand? Psychologically, just like That's the right thing right there. Psychologically, these slave codes are still being used today. A lot of us don't think we're slaves, right? But if you have to go to anybody from another nation to get work, if you have to go to anybody from another nation to get food, if you have to go to anybody from another nation to get clothing, to get housing, to get any of your needs, you're a slave.
Come.
You understand? That's the definition of a slave. You understand? There's no getting around it. You understand? And this is the reason why Commander General Yohana is teaching us we have to have our home. We have to have, listen, this is another way that integration destroyed our people. You understand what I'm saying? Because all of the schools, all of the universities, all of the industries that we have, all of the stores, you know, we even had black bus lines. You understand? So think about Martin Luther King, meritorious manumission, right? Martin Luther King, what did he do? He wants equality. He wants to eat at the same counter. I want to get on the same buses. You understand? Meritorious manumission. You're going to do something for your oppressor that is going to destroy your people. You understand? He basically did the latter of the two. He snitched on his own to be free. And when I say snitched on his own, he gave up everything that we were building. He gave it to the oppressor to get a little taste of the oppressor, of what the oppressor had. You understand what I'm saying?
That reminds me of us when we left Egypt and we was in the wilderness. We wanted to go back.
They said, listen, wouldn't it be better that we go back instead of dying in the desert? I'm paraphrasing.
We was eating garlic,
Exactly.
food, and this and that and that. We out here now.
But the whole thing is the oppressor makes it look so hard to build your own that we would rather get it from the oppressor. Just like in Egypt. Our people, when you're enslaved so much, things look too hard and too difficult. You'd rather be under the lash of the oppressor than to stick it out and struggle and build your own. Remember Black Wall Street, right? The difference with Black Wall Street was those were slaves coming out. And as a slave coming out, you run and you don't look back. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You run and you don't look back. The difference with the slaves coming out of slavery was most of them lost their identity. And that was the one thing that really destroyed us because we weren't living by the law, statutes, and commandments. And because we weren't living by the law, statutes, and commandments, we were doomed to go back into oppression and slavery, which we are in to this day. We had all our own black cities and towns, all knotted up all around. You understand? But we didn't have the Most High backing us. You don't, matter of fact, you got that scripture, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's go into that scripture.
This is in the Apocrypha.
And this is this scripture is basically speaking of what Martin Luther King did to us in these days, back in those days. You understand? Go ahead, read that.
It's 1 Maccabees 1 and 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
Stop right there. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men. Think about this now, right? Who is it speaking of? In those days went there out of Israel. It's speaking of Israelites, but not just Israelites, but wicked Israelites. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So these weren't men from another nation. These weren't our oppressor, but these were Israelites, but wicked Israelites. Go ahead.
Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
Stop right there. It says, read that again. Read that again. That's heaven.
Who persuaded many.
No, start that back over.
First Maccabees 1 and 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
It says, went there out of Israel wicked men. We already talked about that. Go ahead.
Who persuaded many.
Who persuaded many. And what did Martin Luther King do? He persuaded many. What did Farrakhan do? He persuaded many. What did, who's that? Elijah Muhammad do? Persuaded many. We have, go ahead.
Boy, the new Wobbly, Dr. York.
Dr. York persuaded many. You understand? We always had people in Israel who persuaded many to move in ways that the Most High told us not to move. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
That's all through the Bible. We always had men like that. Go ahead.
Saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. What are we doing today?
Making covenants with the heathen.
When you go out and vote, what are you doing?
Making a covenant with the heathen.
Making a covenant with the heathen. So think about this, right? And I heard Commanding General Yohana say it. I heard Cat say it. I heard many brothers in the UPK say it. But when you go out and vote, you not only go out and vote for the things that you look forward to, but you also, go ahead.
You also vote for the things that they want. So if they are with homosexuality, abortion, locking up brothers,
homosexuality, abortion, especially with Biden and Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris destroyed brothers in California.
That's what I was about to say.
Understand? She had, matter of fact, they said she had evidence to free a lot of brothers in California and refused to do it. But she's not black. And that's another thing where we are destroyed because a lot of us, we look at color and we get fooled by color. Just like Barack Obama. We were fooled by that. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not proud to say, but I was one of them. I wasn't in the UPK, wasn't even thinking about it. But I understood that. I finally understood, you understand what I'm saying? That what I did was wrong back before I came into the truth. You understand?
Yes, sir.
I took the clippings and everything, added in you understand? And then, even before I came into the truth, I was saying like, dang, we ain't getting nothing out the deal. So when I came into the truth, you understand?
Yes, sir.
We still ain't got nothing from it. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of people like to say, what did we get from Obama? What did Obama do for us?
You can go marry Manatee with it.
Yeah, exactly. You understand? I even heard people say, well, he gave us health care. No, he gave everybody. And the thing about it is, the health care that he gave out still was destroying black people. You got to go ahead.
And supporting abortion still.
Right, still supporting abortion. You understand?
Yes, sir.
When you vote for a person and put a king over top of you that the Most High did not choose, you take on everything that person is for. You take the good along with the bad. And all the time, it is always bad when you're voting for somebody that the Most High didn't choose. You understand? There's never been think about this. There's never been a time that a person that we have voted for did anything good for us. Nothing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. Listen, you can't do business with the heathen. You can't go into you can do business with the heathen, but you can't go into business. You can't make marriages with the heathen. It tells us not to make marriages. You understand? With the heathen. with somebody who is not of Israel. And when it says not to make marriages, it's not only talking about not taking your son to their daughters and your daughters to their sons, but also in covenants in business. What happened to the native Indians when they made covenants with our oppressor? Look what happened. You understand? Exactly. Look what happens to us every time voting time comes around. We are always the ones being destroyed. You understand what I'm saying? Look at what's happening to our brothers on the border. Trusting in this land, coming here thinking they're going to have a better life, and what's happening now?
Concentration camps.
In concentration camp, but not only that, think about this. I don't know, listen, we all around the same age, right? I remember back in the 70s and the early 80s, those wildfires always broke out in California, right? And they always on the news screen, all the way through the 80s into the early 90s, they always had on how many firefighters died in those fires. Understand? They always did a count. In the mid 90s, you start hearing about that. And into the 2000s, I never heard about a firefighter dying in those California wildfires. Why are no firefighters dying in these California wildfires? You know why?
No.
Because they have got the criminals to be firefighters.
Right on the money.
I was thinking.
Think about this, right? Think about this. Our Hispanic brothers and sisters at the border, right? They're taking those children. They're bringing those children into the United States, and then they're shipping those other ones back into Mexico. They're taking them right over to the wildfires. Wait a minute. But not only that, what do you think they're doing to get them to fight those fires?
Promising their children.
But not only that, that too, right? But we'll give you citizenship.
There you go.
You see?
Same thing. What do you call it?
We'll give you citizenship if you go do this. And we'll reunite you with your children and give you housing. And these are the people that are dying. And the thing about it is they understand that they don't have to account for a so-called illegal citizen or illegal alien, whatever you want to call it. You understand what I'm saying? So these are the things that they do to us.
Same way they wouldn't have to count for slaves because he right back in slavery. So they treat them as slaves, selling them.
Exactly, but it's the same thing, right? But there's a different twist to it. The slaves cost them a little money. This is free money at the book. All right. Hold on, wait. I gotta put it right? It's the same thing. But when you already have a batch of slaves, then all of a sudden you look, all right, you got a pocket full of money, and then all of a sudden you see a $10 bill. I'm gonna save this money in my pocket, and I'm gonna spend this. You understand? This is how they're looking at our brothers at the border. We got these slaves already here, packed up. We already got the thing with them. But let's expend this free labor right here. You understand? So now they dispensing children all across the border, all over on this side of the border, giving out children for free. All kinds of explicit acts and whatever that he even does, which we know our oppressor does. You understand?
They even put that in the movie. Jack Reacher, part 2 in the beginning, the first scene. I don't know if you ever saw it. You remember the beginning when he beat up the boys?
Yeah.
And he said, you know what's going to happen the next 90 seconds?
Right.
You're going to have these handcuffs on you. Wow.
Right.
Selling illegals.
Right.
Kidnapping illegals.
And that was at the beginning, yeah.
The very beginning.
That was good. And yeah, that was the
sheriff.
The sheriff.
He was on Army territory.
And Salaki, I don't want to get too far off, right?
Salaki.
But we also have to look at that as we got 50,000 black females missing. And if I'm not mistaken, DC alone.
DC, yes, sir.
Right? How do these people go missing? How does 50,000 people go missing? You gotta, and I also tell people you have to watch out for these police too. I watched the clip the other day, not a clip, but just a couple weeks ago, of the police trying to pull a girl over, trying to tell her her car was stolen. He didn't know brothers was going to jump out and come at him. He was trying to get her and put her in his car. You understand what I'm saying? That would have been another sister missing. You understand what I'm saying? So we gotta watch them. That's just a sidebar. But we gotta watch that too. You have to watch these police because we all know that the only good police is a police that quits. You understand what I'm saying? There are no good police. You understand what I'm saying? And we found that out with Sergeant Sean Sue when they killed him after he decided to turn around and go with his brothers and sisters. They destroyed him, you understand? And then they taking his rights through all kinds of bull crap. But anyway, go back to that scripture, go ahead.
First Maccabees 1 and 11. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
And that's the very thing that when people say, well, if you don't vote, then it's not, we're not going to get what we need. You understand? If we depart from them, then everything is going to go wrong for us. Everything is going to go south, man. We got to vote. You understand? And they make you feel like, listen, I just talked about this the other day, right? People always bring up the point that our ancestors died for the right to vote. Wait a minute. Our ancestors died for the right to vote, right? I know brothers that died from selling drugs. I know brothers that died from getting high. I know brothers that died from robbing jewelry stores out Pikesville and got killed. Just because you die from something, does that make it right? And this is where our people are destroyed. You understand what I'm saying? Meritorious manumission. You think because you got the right to do something that it is right. Just because you die for something does not make it right. Just because our ancestors died for the right to vote does not make voting right. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So we always have to keep that in mind. It says, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. This was the problem with the children in Israel. When they came out of Israel, you understand? Everything was so hard to them because now you're doing stuff for yourself and not for your oppressor, that it became sorrowful. And they would rather go back and work for the oppressor than to work hard and build your home. Martin Luther King, instead of building our own, he'd rather have what the oppressor had. This is why we are destroyed people. Christianity has totally destroyed our people. You understand what I'm saying? What was you saying?
No, that was pretty good. You
Yeah,
said what I was saying. You said what I was thinking.
Right. Grab, do this for me. Grab Ephesians chapter 5, verse 6. Do we got any more on that article? Or was that it? That's it?
That was about it.
That was it. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, we are a destroyed people because we depend so much on our oppressor, so much so that we don't want to build on our own. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
We get caught up so much in what the oppressor tells us and what the oppressor promises us that when it comes time or when we get the chance to build our own, we don't want to build our own. We'd rather take what the oppressor has. We'd rather build with the oppressor. We can't build on our own. We always have to include our oppressor. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
We always have to include our oppressor. This is the reason why the scriptures tell us what? We are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. You understand? And where is the knowledge? Knowledge in the scriptures. You understand what I'm saying? We are destroyed because we don't go into the scriptures and we don't listen to what the Most High told us to do or tells us to do. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
a lot of us go into these scriptures, and this is a lot of Christians go into these scriptures, and when you tell them what the scriptures mean, oh, well, what they was talking about back in those days, that don't apply to us today. Say that again?
I said not one jot or one tittle.
Not one jot or one tittle.
To the earth.
Exactly.
I'm going to paraphrase, but to the
Right,
earth.
exactly.
Heavens and earth pass. Not one jot or one tittle from the law will change. I'm paraphrasing it.
Right, exactly. You understand? And you got a lot of, I know I hear a lot of Christians tell, well, I done read the Bible 4 or 5 times. I done read it all the way through, you know what I mean? And the thing is you can read a book over and over. You can read a book 100 times, but if you don't understand what the book is saying, you'll never get the meaning. You'll never get an understanding. And that's what Christians don't get. Christians don't get an understanding of the Bible. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the reason why we fall for what our oppressor tells us. This is the reason why his words are smoother than butter. You understand? This is why his words are softer than oil. And we don't understand that that soft word is only meant to destroy us. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You got that from me?
Yes. That was Ephesians 5 and 6.
Yep. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 6.
Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 6.
Can you hear me good on this mic? Okay. Go ahead.
Let no man deceive you with vain words.
It says, let no man deceive you with vain words. What's vain words?
Words don't mean nothing.
Words don't mean nothing. Words that are empty. Words that hold no water. It says, listen, what's the scripture that says, we walk with cisterns, broken cisterns. You know what scripture I'm talking about. Broken cisterns that hold no water, right? That's all of these other customs and cultures. They hold no water. You understand? We depend, listen, we got people that can read the Bible but still celebrate Christmas. They celebrating a custom and a culture that holds no water. You understand? They give up the Most High to take on the customs and culture of a nation of people who are set to destroy us. All of these customs and cultures, listen, let's just set these customs and cultures that we're going into right now on American custom and culture right now, right? Every custom and culture is put together and intertwined together to what? And I'm talking in general now. It's just here to keep us broke.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever you're broke, right, what do you have to do? And I'm talking about as an average citizen, what do you have to do?
Work more.
I have to work more.
Yeah, and go to him and get more money back.
I have to work more, though. But the important part is work more. And when you work more, you focus less on the Most High. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
The more you work for your oppressor, the less you focus on the Most High. And that's what destroys us, because we stay so focused on our oppressor that we forget about the Most High. You can't, what's our scripture? You can't
serve two masters. If you're going to love one and hate the other.
And hate the other. That's natural. It's natural. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Everything that I guess that's the hard thing for Christians to understand, that everything that's the most difficult, because the Christian loves our oppressor. You understand? But the thing that they can't understand is that everything that the oppressor sets out to do for you is to destroy us. Go?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
This is the rest of Ephesians 5 and 6. Well, Ephesians 5 and 6. Let no man deceive you with vain words.
Go ahead.
For because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience.
Because of these things comes the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience. We just now said that, right? You will love one and hate the other. When you hate the Most High turns the Most High. When you go against the Most High goes against you. Point blank. Because what the Most High says is what? Since you want to side with your oppressor, I am going to destroy you along with your oppressor. COVID-19. Right? And I don't want to get too far off, because our thing was meritorious manumission. doing for the oppressor, being destroyed and all of that. But COVID-19, had we listened to the Most High, right? If we had followed the dietary laws, if we had done what we were supposed to do, a lot of those underlying diseases and things that we have, we wouldn't have, and the COVID wouldn't be really affecting us. But because we followed our oppressor, because we like that shrimp, crab, and lobster, because we like that homosexuality, because we like that we like those cigarettes, we like all that. And think about it, the guy came on, I can't remember his name, but he came on and said, you gotta put down the smoke, cigarettes, and all of that, even the weed. And a lot of our brothers and sisters, what do they say about the weed?
It comes from the earth. It's natural.
From the earth. It's natural. It comes from the earth. But when you inhale it as a smoke, it becomes a chemical. It becomes a poisonous chemical. You understand what I'm saying? And then a lot of them can't understand why the things that are happening to them happen. Understand? That weed that they smoking today makes men soft, makes women evil. Women are already evil enough as it is. We're going through the slavery. You understand what I'm saying? Being in the captivity that we in. I don't want to get too far with that, but you understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying, you know, our sisters is hard. You understand? And we got strong sisters as it is. But the chemicals have a reaction to testosterone and to estrogen. So the testosterone, which is in men, it makes us softer. And the estrogen in women, it makes them harder and more listening. You understand? We already have strong women. We strong men, and strong men always need strong women. And and a lot of them don't understand what the oppressor is. Think about it, right? Words of his mouth are smoother than butter, but words in his heart. Listen, we were destroyed for no, I want you to hold that. I want you to hold it.
I didn't. I was going back to songs.
Okay, yeah. Marijuana was illegal, right?
Oh, now they're making it.
Marijuana was illegal. They lock up so many of you behind the marijuana that all of a sudden, now that they got a stranglehold on the marijuana, now they're making the marijuana legal. But, and before I give you the but, all of a sudden they started giving out licenses to sell the marijuana legally, right? But who did they exclude?
Oh, us.
They excluded anybody with a drug charge or felony or anything like that. Which excluded who? The brothers that's selling the drugs. The brothers that's selling the marijuana. So now they X you out the plan, and now they are the drug dealers. Now they are the marijuana sellers. Legally. You understand? So now, I'm gonna give it to you like this. They haven't even legalized the marijuana in Maryland yet, right? Wait a minute. But I already have 6 dispensaries open in downtown Baltimore already. As a matter of fact, I had a cleaning contract downtown last year. Downstairs, they just opened the marijuana dispensary. I rode past there the other day. You should see the people standing out there smoking weed right on the parking lot. It's not supposed to be recreational. It's supposed to be medical. But it's recreational. They're already selling the recreational. When you come past, I drove past with the windows down, and you could just smell nothing but marijuana down there. You understand what I'm saying? He makes his rules and breaks his rules. But when you're in your own house, you get to make the rules in your own house. But not only do you make the rules in your own house, but you get to break them. And nobody can say a word. Now, guess who owns all of those dispensaries? The oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? And the thing about it, they are strategically placed downtown. From one side of Fells Point, all the way up to the other side near, do you know where the University of Baltimore is? Right up there by Cathedral and Martin Luther King, all of that. They got them right there
That's
too.
the working.
So they got them from one side to the other.
Oh, that's the whole damn thing.
Yeah. So you got the people can walk right up, and like I said, the whole parking lot that I used to, we used to have to clean the parking lot off too, because we had to build the whole building. Just clean the parking lot too.
Yeah, I mean, like this.
They had everybody out there. They got security out there.
Damn.
Security.
Damn.
You understand what I'm saying?
God.
This is no joke. Listen, the words were his mouth was smoother than butter, but wool was in his heart. His words were smoother than oil, but were drawn swords. Listen, every word that he speaks to us is to destroy us. Meritorious manumission was a vice to destroy us. It's to lull you to sleep and to slowly destroy you. The whole time where you think you getting ahead, you taking 2 steps back. Good? Okay. Salaki, sir. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So, where we at?
Ephesians 5 and the rest of 6. Well, no, that's actually irrelevant.
That was it.
Ephesians 5 and 6.
That was it right there. You can drop that. And you can give me 1 Esdras, chapter 8, verse 85.
85. I'm gonna write down real quick. No, I got it. No good. Okay. This is an apocryphal. 1 Esdras 8, chapter 8, verse 85. Moreover, you shall never seek to have peace with them.
It says, moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them. And this is the very thing that we continually look for from our oppressor. We seek to have peace with them. When it says, ye shall never seek to have peace with them, this doesn't mean that you naturally have to go to war with them. Right? Doesn't mean you naturally have to go to war with them. You cannot trust these people. You understand what I'm saying? It says, trust not thine enemy. It's letting you know that these people are your enemy. Moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them. Voting is seeking to have peace. If I vote, maybe we can get some kind of justice. You can never get justice in another man's house, under another man's rules, under another man's justice system. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
What man is going to crucify himself under his own justice system? No man. So it says in the scripture what? Read that again.
1 Esdras 8 and 85. Moreover, you shall never seek to have peace with them.
It says, ye shall never seek to have peace with them. Why not? Read.
That ye may be strong.
That ye may be strong. When you seek to have peace with them, you are destroyed. You understand? You can never be strong when you seek to have peace with your oppressor. There is no getting around it. The scriptures say it, right? Moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them, that ye may be strong. Don't seek peace with them if you want to be strong. If you want to be strengthened, if you want to grow. No, don't seek to have peace with them, because they are only going to destroy you. Go ahead. Zephaniah 2 and 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather yourself together, O nation not desired. He lets us know that we are a nation of people that are not desired. And because we are not desired, you cannot trust the other nations. So because you cannot trust the other nations, what must you do? We have to gather ourselves together. We have to build on our own. We cannot trust in anyone else doing anything for us. Go ahead.
And eat the good things of the land.
And eat the good things of the land. How do you eat the good things of the land? Go ahead, say it.
Oh, I'm saying gather yourselves together and make
Well,
your own nation.
how do you eat the good things? Think about it. That's true, right? But how do you eat the good things of the land? Don't seek to have peace with them. Build your own.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Once you build your own, you can eat the good things of the land. You can't eat the good things of the land if you have to depend on your oppressor. You understand? You have to do for yourself to eat the good things of the land. If you eating from your oppressor's table, you will be destroyed. You understand? That's what we under right now. We under that right now. We being destroyed by our oppressor right now. Because we seek to have peace with him. And because we seek to have peace with him, we don't have our own stores. We don't have our own shops. We don't have our own schools. So in every one of those areas, we are being destroyed. You understand what I'm saying? We're being destroyed in each one of those areas, whether it be education, whether it be schooling, whether it be the knowledge, whether it be anything. What did you say? Economy, everything. We are destroyed. Economically, we are totally destroyed. You understand? They said we are the 10th richest nation in the world. We have $1.8 trillion worth of purchasing power. How do you think the United States stays in business? And this is what it is. It is a business. You understand? We are slaves running a machine. You understand? Those prisons that you see, they are, what are they are? They are slave ships on land. You understand what I'm saying? Look how the brothers are packed away in. Slave ships on land.
And each one worth a certain amount of money. Once they lock you up, now you worth this much amount of money to that state and to that prison.
And if I'm not mistaken, they said it was like close to $80,000 a year per inmate.
Per slave. Oh, it's an inmate.
AKA per slave, right. You understand? We all slaves, but they are incarcerated slaves. You understand? They make you think that one is different from the other one. It's not. There is no difference. You know? Go ahead.
The rest of first Ezra 8 and 85. And that ye may leave the inheritance of the land unto your children forevermore.
And that ye may leave the inheritance of the land unto your children forevermore. What inheritance do we have to leave our children?
Right now?
We don't own any school. We don't own any businesses. And I'm talking about businesses that can build a community. Economically, we are destroyed. Business-wise, we are destroyed. Educationally, we are destroyed. You understand? We can't even, well, right now, the Isupkbmore, we're educating our people now. I remember 2.5 years ago, I was on the outside looking in. You understand? I had a different, I was in a different frame of thinking 2.5, almost 3 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? I was in a different frame of thinking. I came into the Isupkbmore and got educated. Now, the Isupkbmore is building businesses. We getting educated. We building businesses and we bringing our people along. You understand? We have a military. We building a military. You understand what I'm saying? So the whole foundation of building a nation is what? Building a military. You got to have a military because you got to have something to protect the things that you have. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, like I said, and it says, and that ye may leave the inheritance of the land unto your children forevermore. We don't have any inheritances to leave our children. Even the rich. Think about this, right? I just looked at. I went online and they pulled up shacks. 100 and what's that? 100 and what is it? $88 million mansion.
Shack?
Yeah.
Dang.
Man, they showed it from a sky view. I was like, think about this. If something was to happen to him today or tomorrow, what's going to happen to that mansion? So he's a rich slave. I have yet to see anybody hand anything down. I'm waiting to see that business that Kobe started with that heathen, not heathen, but that oppressor. He started a business just before he died with the oppressor. Where do you think that went?
To him, true.
Yeah, of course. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Listen, we just read that where it says, never seek to, look, we read it right there. Moreover, ye should never seek to have peace with them. Don't make marriages with them. Kobe made a marriage with the oppressor. And then all of a sudden, there goes another one. There's another one. There's another one. No, I'm saying, we talked about Prince, Michael Jackson, now look at Kobe. Him and this oppressor, they was on TV talking about 3 or 4 months before he died about this business venture that he had just went into with this oppressor. They had partnered up. You understand? I mean, even Michael Jordan partnered up in a business venture with an oppressor and then turned around and married an oppressor. You understand? So if something was to happen to him today or tomorrow, where does that go? To her and the oppressor. You understand? It says, moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them. We don't have anything to leave our children. Every time our people pass or die or something happens to them, there's nothing ever left for the family. They have little trinkets that may last them a few years, but it's nothing that goes on from generation to generation to generation. We don't have any generational wealth. You understand what I'm saying? We have no generational wealth. We don't have anything to hand down to our children. And that's the one thing that I'm struggling to do. You know, it's a struggle. But I also, coming into the UPK, realized that as an officer in the UPK, we all have to work as one body. We have to help here, help there. When you give of yourself, somebody gives of themselves back to you. So sometimes you can't think of you have to think of the next man, and the next man thinks of you. That's how it is in the UPK, where when I was outside, I thought of me, what I could do to help and better myself. And now I don't think of that. I think of bettering the next man, and then somebody else comes along and thinks about bettering me. That's the difference between the UPK. And this is the reason why the UPK prospers and has lasted over the years more than these other groups, because go ahead. Same accord. There you go. It's on the same accord. F&I 201. It says gather yourself together. Whenever you gather yourself together, you don't just gather together, but you have to come together on the same accord. If you're not on the same accord, we talked about that last week. If you're not on the same, any group can come together, but if they're not on the same accord, it will never last. We see groups fall apart every day. We see it happen every day. You know? Did we finish that? Yeah, I think we finished that. Right?
That was second. First, that was 8 and 85. Yeah,
that was it. That was it. You got anything? Got any questions? Got any questions, sir?
Nah.
Yeah, the question. We got any questions online?
Nah, I haven't seen nothing.
Listen, let's grab Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 17. And this is basically around what we was just talking about. You understand? Depending on, because we depend on our oppressors so much, you understand? When you depend on your oppressors so much, you can't see the wickedness behind it. It says, what does the scripture say? As so is iron rusted, so is his, as iron rusted, so is his countenance, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing.
Well, this is iron rusted, so is his, I understand what you mean. Just like, iron's gonna rust, so you can't trust it.
The thing is the properties of iron, like, all right, when I worked at my old job, right? We got iron come in, iron naturally rusts up, period, right? So what we used to do before we made a part, we would skim cut. And when you skim cut, this is what it looked like, right? It got shiny like this. So what happens was, what I would do was, I would take some kind of oil substance and hurry up and put it on there, because after a couple of minutes, if it sat in the air, start to get rust spots back in it. So you hurry up and put the oil on it so it stays shiny. You understand what I'm saying? So is iron rusted, so is his. I'm trying to get it. Yeah. But the thing is just like iron will rust through, so is his personality and his attitude will show through. A lot of us don't take the time to see what's behind the curtain. You understand? And by the time you find out what's behind the curtain, it's too late. The rust has already overcome. You understand what I'm saying? That his destruction has already hit you. He's already destroyed you. You understand what I'm saying? And this think about it, right? It's like drugs. You out there and you hustle. You always think you're getting over, you always think you're getting over, you always think you're getting over at one time. Boom. You understand what I'm saying? Sure. All of a sudden they come and get you. But they put the drugs there. They get you happy because you think you're making money, and all the way up until the day you get caught. Once you get caught, bam, reality set in. This beast. You understand? Now you realize he a beast. Now you realize everything about him, but by that time, it's too late. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. By that time he hits you, it's too late. It's done. It's over. You understand? You got that for me?
Yep. But you said 12 and 17, but 12 and 16 is a beast. I don't know if we got time or not. I'm going out, being out.
Let's stick with the
Okay.
Let's stick with the 17.
Okay. This is
Yeah, that whole, actually, I got the whole thing, but I just wanted to hit the 17 and 18. Huh. I got all the way from 9 all the way down, but I'm not gonna hit all of that. I'm gonna bounce back up to the other part, but go ahead.
Ecclesiasticus 12 and 17. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first.
Listen, it says, if adversity come upon you, you will find him there first. You understand what I'm saying? If adversity comes upon you, you will find him there first. You're always going to act like he's there for you. You understand? You're always going to act like, oh, I got your back, Go ahead.
And though he pretend to help thee.
Listen, he always going to pretend to help you. He always, look, what do you need? What can I do to help? What can I do to make this situation better? You understand? We heard that a lot. You understand? As soon as something effed up go wrong, and you know you in a crap hole, oh man, what can I do to make this situation better? You understand? And when you hear that, you kind of feel at ease. Oh man, he's here to help me. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee.
Yet he shall undermine thee. Listen, I worked at a job, right? I worked at a job, and I think I told you this story maybe last week or the week before, right? But oh no, I didn't tell this one. White guy, when I came in, this was an old job I had years ago, right? When I come in, everything was nice and smooth. Hey, what can I do? Hey, is everything okay? Everything is okay. This is a white supervisor. I'm working in the warehouse, right? Hopkins Medical Supply. So I'm working in the warehouse, and what can I do? What can I do to help you? And I was like, everything's good. You good? Everything set, blah, blah, blah. Make you feel real at ease. So he's like, well, just to be on this, well, I had been working there. I was already there for 2 weeks. He said, well, what's the president of the company wants you to come up there and let him know how everything's going out there on the floor, right? I said, oh, okay, all right. So I go up there and I let him know everything good. So he asked me about dude on the, the one that was supposed to be my supervisor. Oh, he cool, he good, everything is good, right? He said, okay, all right. He said, yeah, because the guy before you had a problem with him. I start thinking like, dang. Yeah, okay, all right, okay. So then after that, a couple months after that, oh, this dude started getting wicked. You understand? So now he's showing through, right? Listen, the scripture we said before is, iron, so is iron rusted. Eventually the real him is going to show through, and it started to show through. But your boy was kind of smart. You understand what I'm saying? So eventually what happened was he started setting me and my man up and started sending out packages that was wrong and putting our name, because you had to put the name tag in the box, and he was sending it out. So the president of the company just kept calling me and my man up and saying, look, y'all sending out the wrong stuff. I said, oh, we can't be sending out the wrong stuff because he's checking my boxes and I'm checking his. So if we checking each other's stuff, something ain't right? So what happened was we had a lot of stuff on our cart. And the white dude stayed later. And I don't want to get too long on this, but the white dude stayed later and started packing the stuff up. Lo and behold, he was putting the wrong stuff in the boxes on purpose and then putting our names in it, right? Well, what he did this night, he just packed all the stuff up. He never closed them up and shipped them out. So what I did when I came in the next day, I told my man, I said, look, see, you got all that stuff packed up right there. I said, I'm going to drop his names in the boxes and I'm going to seal it up and zip them closed and put the packing label on it. And I said, if he come in here and he starts zapping out, running through the box, and say, no, that means he set us up, right? When he came in, my man sat back. We at our desk acting like we working. And when he came in, I said, hey, I put everything, the stuff that you had already packed up, I closed them up and put the seal. He like the went crazy. My man looked and was like, yo, yes. I said, I told you. So what I did was I went up the front and I told the president of the company, well, we don't really know that. What happened was then they set him up on the low because what they started getting was callbacks on a lot of the wrong stuff. So they set him up and found out he was packing the wrong stuff. Came in one day, we got going back and forth. He told me I'm gonna get fired. I said, no, you gonna get fired, but I'm saying it out of spite. President called him up the front. When he came back, he had tears in his eyes. Me and my man looked at each other. I said, what the hell just happened? He walked him to the door, made sure he had all his stuff, walked him out, took his keys back. He came to us and said, we just fired him. He said, I ain't gonna say my slave name, but he said, what you told me was right. He was setting y'all up and he was boom. And they shipped him up out of there. Why did they ship him up out of there? Because they necks was on the line. They were losing money. You understand what I'm saying? And they had big contracts, and that's where we messed up. You understand what I'm saying?
I got
So wait.
I found it. It was 12 and 10 of Ecclesiastes.
What was that saying?
Oh, it was 12 and 10.
You go ahead, read it.
Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness.
So is his wickedness. Listen, as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Just like iron rusted, eventually his wickedness is going to show through. Just like, because like I said, when you let iron sit for a certain amount of time, and I'm talking about minutes, it begins to you start to see rust spots. If you don't put oil on it, it's starting to rust up immediately. And that's that countenance, that's that thing that's eventually going to show through. As iron rusted, so is his wickedness. His wickedness is eventually going to show through. Our people, we get so caught up in loving our oppressor that by the time his wickedness shows through, we already destroyed. You understand what I'm saying? We already destroyed. Where was we at? Ecclesiastes 12 and 17. Go ahead, read that.
Ecclesiastes 12 and 17. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first.
Thou shalt find him there first. Go ahead.
And though he pretend to help thee,
which is what they always do, they always act like they helping you. when in fact they are set to destroy you. Go ahead.
Yet shall he undermine thee.
That's what they do. They undermine us. I have yet to see an oppressor that helps you that didn't have an underlining agenda. You understand what I'm saying? And 9 times out of 10, their agenda is to destroy you. And if they do make you money, in the end, they want to take that money that you do make. You understand? Go ahead.
12 and 18. He will shake his head.
He will shake his head in agreement. Like he's agreeing with you. Go ahead.
And clap his hands.
And clap his hands. Go ahead, boy. Go ahead. Yeah, my man. Go ahead.
And whisper much.
And whisper much. I hate this bastard. Go ahead.
And change his countenance.
Change his countenance. You understand? He will switch up on you in a heartbeat. This is what the oppressor does. You understand what I'm saying? There is nothing good about the oppressor. What does the scripture say? Who can make that straight which I have made crooked? And that's the problem with our people today. We think that if we keep voting, eventually our oppressor is going to like us. He's going to change his ways. He is going to go in a straight path. No. Who can make that straight which I have made crooked? The Most High made him like this.
I remember the last time you said that, this only takes like 30 seconds, but the story about the woman who was trying to help the snake who got hurt, it was a poisonous snake.
Right.
And it's a poisonous snake. She's trying to help it, and eventually it bit her. And she said,
Stop. Stop right there. Stop right there. That's my scripture. Right? I had that scripture. I didn't want you to say that.
Oh, okay.
That was my Ecclesiasticus 12 and 13. Go up the top. That was my part. I told you I was going to go up on that.
Oh.
Right.
My bad. Yeah. Sorry, I just thought, man, I didn't.
Right. So, listen, the countenance will change, but this is the problem with us as a nation. We have so much trust, like we said earlier. We gotta have so much trust in our oppressor that by the time his countenance changes, it's too late. You understand? We are already destroyed. You know what I mean? And we put so much, he promises us so much, you know, and it goes back to meritorious manumission. He promises us so much. I'll give you this if you do this for me. And eventually, the thing that he gives us works against us and tears us apart. You understand what I'm saying? You invent something, he's stealing it from you. You understand? You save his life, eventually he's going to kill you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's nothing that we can do for our oppressor that is going to change the ways of our oppressor. Our oppressor is, what do they call our oppressor? They say he is gifted with the sword. If you're gifted with anything, what are you going to do? You're going to use that thing that you're gifted with. If he's gifted with destruction, he is going to destroy us in any means necessary, by any means necessary. But we have so much love and admiration for our oppressor that we keep falling for the same thing over and over again. We can't get enough. That's like a woman getting beat by a dude and keeps going back for the same ass whooping. You understand what I'm saying? And to the point where her family says, you know what? Let her do her. You understand? We are that woman that continually goes back for the same beating from the same abusive husband. You understand what I'm saying? And we continually take the beating, continually to go out and vote, continually to go out and march. We continue to do hands up, don't shoot. We continually to get on our knees and do all the same bull crap that has gotten us nowhere since the 1960s.
What's it called? I was thinking, what is it called? When a woman got kidnapped by some people and then they started acting next to her and then she started being on their side. It's called, you know what I'm talking about.
That's called, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's called, what is it called, sir? What is that called when?
It's called, that's what we're under right now.
Syndrome.
Helsinki?
No, the syndrome.
Yeah.
Stockholm
Syndrome. Stockholm Sweden. That's where it happened.
That's Stockholm syndrome, because that's when you've been beaten so much that you begin to find a love for the one who is beating you. I remember when we were young, we had you know how in the neighborhood you got boyfriends and girlfriends in the neighborhood. We had a buddy that used to beat up his girlfriend all the time, and she loved it. You understand what I'm saying? So much so that they had kids together. You understand what I'm saying? And we could never understand, like, yo, why do you continue to, you talk about this, but you continue to go back, you know what I mean? In the Stockholm syndrome, you get beat because her father did it to her mother, and so forth. You understand what I'm saying? And my thing is like, that's us. Stockholm syndrome. You understand? We fall for the same trick. How do you fall for the voting trick every year? The same way.
Every 4 years. Every 4 years.
2 years here, 4 years there. Because we keep voting for the same mayors and councilmen and all of them. They do the same thing. You understand what I'm saying? So you got, we continue to vote, and we continue to hear them say, just like that census. They say, send the census thing back in so our neighborhood can get money so we can build up our neighborhood. But you send that census thing back in, and the neighborhood still look the same. We talked about when they used to talk about the Pimlico racetrack. The Pimlico racetrack, we heard every year that some of the funds, part of the funds from the Pimlico racetrack, when they had all those preachers and stuff like that, was going to go to revitalizing the neighborhood. We fall for that every year. And then the thing is, they have it on the ballot. When you go in to vote, they have it right there on the ballot. You voting for this, blah, 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 and you pull it, and bam, you vote, and nothing happens. The one store that I talked about a couple of weeks ago that profited and that benefited off of that was Cinderella Shoes. It was owned by who? The so-called Jew. Cinderella Shoes is owned by the so-called Jew. When we was little, we used to go to Cinderella Shoes and get our shoes in the 70s, the 80s, into the 90s. You understand what I'm saying? Cinderella's is owned by a Jew, still owned by them. Yeah, it's owned by them, and so-called Jew owned Charlie Rudolph too. Them two connected. They went to Oregon. One of those Midwest states where they made Nike Airs. They got Nike Air because they made so much money off of Air Force One when they came out that year in 1982. They made so much money that they got Nike. Because remember, when sneakers used to come out, they didn't remake those sneakers anymore. Sneakers came out and that was it. And then they went on to the next sneaker. A lot of people didn't realize it because what happened was Cinderella Shoes and Charlie Rudolph, I don't want to get too far off. They connected and they went all the way out Midwest, got Nike to remaster those shoes again. When they came back again, they sold out again. They went back out there and asked them to make a color. The first color that they came out with was the navy blue Air Force One. And it snapped off. And so what they started doing was every month they came out with a different color. And Air Force One blew up here in Baltimore. And that's the reason why 2 years ago they gave Baltimore their own Air Force One sneaker coming back. This is what they do to us. You understand what I'm saying?
10 minutes.
Okay. It's a lot to say. Kind of. But this is what they do to us. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, everything that they do is never to benefit us, but is to benefit them and to make money off of us. No thing that the oppressor do for you. And this is the reason why you have to understand that whenever an oppressor does something for you, there is a scripture that says that don't count the oppressor, but count it to, I'm paraphrasing, to the Most High. Most High changed the heart of the oppressor to give you whatever he gave you. You understand? I'm just paraphrasing. But they never do anything to benefit us. You know, everything is always about them. And this is the same thing with meritorious manumission. Meritorious manumission was not created for the benefit of the slave. You understand? It was always to benefit the slave master. Anything that your oppressor gives you or is doing for you is never to benefit you, but it is to always benefit him. It is always about making money for him. You understand? And nothing else. Nothing more, nothing less. You understand? When it comes to you, it's always about benefiting your oppressor. You understand? Where was we at?
Well, I mentioned the thing about the snake. You said don't say it.
Right, hit that for me. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13.
Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent?
It says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent? Think about what it's saying, right? What's the old saying? You lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. Who will pity the person that plays with a serpent? You step to play with a serpent and you get bit, that's on you. You understand what I'm saying? It says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent? Who will pity the charmer? You sit and you want to play, this is like the young guy telling my job. Listen, you keep playing with these oppressors, and you keep playing with these white people, eventually they're going to bite you in the ass. He got linked on by one the other day. He was pissed off. And I told him, I said, because you keep playing with him, now you hurt. And I sit here and I tell you, stop playing with him. And then he cursed you out like the Dickens. And now you mad. What the f you mad for? I had to ask him, why are you mad? I said, that's the one you keep playing with. And now look what happened. You just slightly bumped his car door with your car door. And he went off on you. That's what's supposed to happen. I wish you would have said that to me. You understand what I'm saying? But they don't deal with me like that because I don't play with them. You understand what I'm saying? But when who pities a charmer when you playing with a serpent? You playing that, I keep telling them that. You going out, you having fun with these white people, and you gonna find you in a lake somewhere. You understand what I'm saying? Or what Commander General Yohana said, you're gonna find you tied up with a ball in your mouth. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying? You can't do that. You understand what I'm saying? We gotta be mindful that we have to be with each other. The Most High tells us to secure our own. We have to take care of our own. Let them take care of them. We take care of us. You understand what I'm saying? That's crazy, ain't it?
I'm looking at the ball.
Yes, I'm talking about it. It's crazy, ain't it? But I mean, that's the way it is. You understand what I'm saying? We gotta take care of our own. You know? Go ahead, finish that.
For any such as come nigh or near wild beasts. That was Ecclesiastes 12 and 13.
Read that again.
Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts?
And listen, it says come such now wild beasts, right? Anybody that comes close to a wild beast, you know a wild beast is a wild beast. You know your oppressor is a wild beast. If you tend to go out with your oppressor, and you want to hang out with your oppressor, and you end up on the wrong end of a stick, who will pity you? You understand what I'm saying? We cannot think of our oppressors as one of us. And that's what a lot of us do. We tend to do that. We tend to think that we are all, listen, the Most High says we are above all nations. We are a holy people. We are a separate people, right? To be separate is to be holy, is to be a part. It says we are above all nations. We are above all people. You understand? And this is where when we talked earlier and we said our people are,
First, for lack of knowledge, we are, you know, for lack of knowledge,
yeah, you got
setback, we are, our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
for lack of knowledge, and that's the whole point right there. We are destroyed for a lack of knowledge because the Christian church has given us the wrong instructions, and they can't, because of who they've been trained by and taught by, they don't know what these scriptures mean. Only in the Isupkbmore can you come in and understand what the true meaning of these scriptures and get a true grip on life and how it's supposed to be under the Most High. You understand what I'm saying? We are the true biblical Jews of the Bible, and these words in this book were only meant for us. You understand? Understanding is only received in the Isupkbmore under command of General Muhammad. You understand what I'm saying? And there is no other place that you can get what we get in these scriptures. You understand? Or any such as come nigh wild beasts. Anyone who comes close to sleeping with the enemy, laying with a beast. You understand? You get what you deserve. You understand? Knowledge is given to us in these scriptures. And if you think you got knowledge and you want to lay with a wild beast, then so be it. What happens, happens. You understand what I'm saying? Let's grab one more scripture. We're gonna grab back up. Job chapter 36. Let's see, verse 15. You got that? Go ahead.
This is Job chapter 36 and verse 15. He delivered the poor in his affliction.
It says he delivered the poor in his affliction. What does that mean? He delivered the poor in his affliction. I'm going to give you, go ahead.
Meaning he's going to, when we're being afflicted, he will save us, he will deliver us from it, he will save us from it, he will, I can't say it.
Listen, everybody that's in the Isupkbmore, right? We have been delivered in our affliction. We were all afflicted in some kind of fashion, form, or way, right? But through that affliction, we found the Isupkbmore. We came into this truth. You understand? We came into this truth. Come on, sir. We came into this truth, even in our affliction, affliction. I said affliction. Affliction. We came into this truth. You understand what I'm saying? It says he delivered the poor in his affliction. We were the poor. At one time, I was outside behind that line. You understand what I'm saying? And he delivered me and brought me in my affliction. He delivered me in my affliction. Go ahead.
And opened their ears in oppression.
And opened their ears in oppression. He gave me understanding. He let me hear the true word. He gave me the understanding of the word in my oppression. Even though I'm being destroyed, he gave me the understanding to hear that truth and come into this truth. You understand? He gave us that ear. What was you saying?
I'm saying because you have an ear, he said, he who have an ear.
He who have an ear, let him hear. You understand? And with that, we are Isupkbmore, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969, and what is that truth? That truth is that the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Indians are the true beings of the Bible. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And with that, we'll pass the class over to Priest Officer Kawan Kalak.
Security announcements. We are the Isupkbmore out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are to be off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world after 6 months. If a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. That's a courting period. That's 6 months. Abide by these rules, brothers and sisters. This can save your life. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8 and 10, means tenth in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'asherah. 10% of every penny of any increase that the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give, upcoming holy congregation. Remind Akim and Akwafium to check on social media such as Isupkbmore.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for Isupkbmore events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black. That means all black, Akim. Nothing on the shirt, no designs on the shirt, all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, which is Matham Shakaria. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat, Majbra, Yazimata, class dismissed. Usually is in videos.
My whole life was trying to find something to follow. Had no tears, every man tried to borrow. Feel pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed so packed, I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused about the loophole. Cop got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. There ain't no quattro. Now I'm set by the prison man blue on this cosmo. Rap with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got vexed, picked up the bag, nigga had it, that's what it heard from fresh. But like my life was on fire, trying to find exit. Now look, TTV plus us is threat. Sometimes I follow when it's soldier, trying to find a good ship. Plus us doing hell, how I do it with hell. With the breath of life, I'm a deep fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain. Something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord? Got a tongue like a two-edged sword.